Kentucky Republican Thomas Massie lost his primary tonight. I'm not American. I don't share his politics, but I think this is one of the worst things to happen to the American Republic in a long time. I'm Kevin Dusk from Primary Gang. So yeah, Thomas Massie lost his primary tonight in Kentucky, and I want to be honest with you about who I am and who he is before I tell you why I think this matters. I'm Canadian. I'm not a libertarian. Well, not really. I don't share Massey's position on most things, not on the debt ceiling, not on healthcare, not on a lot of the votes he cast over 14 years in that building. I'm not going to pretend otherwise. That would be dishonest, disingenuous, and he deserves better than dishonesty. Which is part of why tonight is kind of hard from here in Calgary. Thomas Massie was a 7-term Republican congressman from Kentucky who voted his conscience every single time he cast a vote, regardless of what it cost him. He voted against the so-called One Big Beautiful Bill because he thought it would blow up the debt. He voted against the Iran war because the War Powers Authority, he didn't think the president had the constitutional right to wage the conflict. He pushed for the release of the Epstein files and threatened to impeach the Attorney General when the Justice Department missed its statutory deadline to produce them. He did all of this in a party that increasingly views those positions as disloyalty rather than principle. Tonight, he lost to a Trump-backed Navy SEAL named Ed Galrain in the most expensive House primary in American history. $32.6 million in total ad spending. AIPAC Super PAC alone poured more than $4 million into it, calling him, quote, the most anti-Israeli Republican in the House, unquote. Miriam Adelson, Paul Singer, John Paulson, 3 pro-Israel billionaires, funded another $5.6 million through a super PAC created specifically to remove him. 2 weeks ago, Massie told Tucker Carlson at least 95% of the money opposing him came from the Israeli lobby, and he said, quote, if I lose on May 19th, I'll be out of Congress on January 3rd. Nobody's going to follow my Twitter. Nobody's going to invite me into the skiffs to read the secret interpretations of the law. The executive branch is even to spy on you. The one whistleblower in Congress will be gone, unquote. There's a line. And I have mixed feelings about America in these days, but it's been attributed to Lincoln, although I'm not sure it's really his. It's that a nation of free men will live forever or will die by suicide. And I've been thinking about that line tonight. The procedure worked perfectly. The primary ran, the votes were counted. Galrain won with 54%. The Republic's machinery functioned exactly as designed. No fraud, no interference. The people of Kentucky's 4th District made a choice. And the man who stood up against the War Powers Resolution 7 times, who voted Ro Khanna and left-wing Democrats on constitutional principles when almost no one else in the caucus would, that man gave a toast at his election night party in Hebron, Kentucky, and went home. And that makes me think about Cato the Younger at Utica in Rome. Watching Caesar cross the Rubicon, watching the forms of the Republic continue, the Senate meeting, elections being held, magistrates being appointed, while the substance was sucked right out of them. Cato understood that a republic can die even if its procedures are still functioning. That is the most insidious and dangerous kind of death, because it's one that looks like health. I'm not calling Ed Galrain Caesar. I'm not calling Massie Cato. I'm not comparing anyone to John McCain or calling Massie some kind of hero. He's a congressman who did his job. Unlike many others, he voted his conscience. In this moment, in that country, that was enough to make him a target worth $32 million of ad spending. The whistleblower in the room is gone. He said so himself. I believe him. And this is just another dark day for what remains of America's democracy. Kevin Duska, president of Primary Inc. Cheers. And here's to you, Congressman Massie.